Good evening, everybody. We are Tuesday night and we are having our gig worker hangout. Last night we talked about anything and everything about starting your own YouTube channel and the process of getting that going. Tonight we're going to be talking about starting to sell online if you've never done that before, or a little more specifically, selling on eBay. So we're going to go ahead and put a poll up right from the beginning. Have you ever sold any item on eBay before? Yes? No. Start our poll here. So have you ever sold any item on eBay before? Maybe a long time ago, maybe recently. What was your experience like with all that? Love to hear on that. So I have been selling on eBay on and off since probably, I would say 2001, 2002, something like that. Well over 20 years I've been selling on and off, sometimes full time, sometimes part time, sometimes just as a hobby. Um, Right now, I would put it in the part-time category, but I've just gotten my eBay store functioning a little bit more the way I want it to be over the last week or two. And so I'll get into some of those tips here shortly as everybody is coming on in the room. Have you ever sold anything on eBay before? If you can go broader than that too, especially if you're watching on replay. Have you ever sold anything online before? Um, there's some other platforms that you can sell on. Of course, Facebook Marketplace being one. For especially local, you can ship through Facebook. Mercari, I know, is another one. Of course, Amazon FBA, and there are probably many other. Of course, you can do your own website. Many other different things, different ways that you can sell online. But we're going to focus primarily on eBay tonight because other than Facebook Marketplace, I think it's got the lowest barrier to entry if you've never really sold. And it's really good if you're just trying to liquidate items that you have in your house that have some form of value, but maybe, um, yeah, the kind of something that's a little more valuable than what you would want to donate, give away, a little more valuable than what you'd want to deal with. Maybe people on Facebook Marketplace, or maybe it's a little more of a niche following. And so you might have an item that there's a limited market, but it's still a really good market. It's just people looking for that maybe don't live in your community. So that's why eBay could really come in come in as a very nice way to help you get rid of some of the stuff in your house, but not just donate it, actually get something out of it. And maybe not going to be talking about making millions of dollars if you're just trying to do that. But anyway, so we're going to kind of talk about that. I'm going to give you, what do I have tonight? I've got, well, the same thing as last night, basically 5 tips plus a bonus tip. Okay, so 5 tips plus a bonus tip if you're looking to get started in selling on eBay. Now, this isn't going to be a tutorial about how to actually sign up for the eBay platform. That's probably a video that I need to make. So if you are interested in that video, please let me know, because I do want to do that. But have you ever sold any item on eBay before? That's our poll question of the night. And so I'm going to give you kind of like my beginner 5 steps. Okay, so here's step number 1, and I'll just kind of review them as people come in the room, but say hi as you come on in, and then I'll answer any and all your eBay and selling online questions near the end. So just go ahead and post them, and I will scroll back through the chat and get them at the end. So number 1, if you're a beginner on eBay and you want to do that, where do you begin? Again, assuming you've signed up for an account, gotten everything registered, I would start with what you have. Okay, start with what you have. Start with the items that are already in your house. You don't need to go out and start spending money on inventory to sell on eBay right away. Um, because you're looking to recover money first. So I would start with what you have, especially if you're super tight on a budget and you don't have a lot of extra expendable income. Start with what you have. Start with working on liquidating the items that are already in your house. Hey, Eli, you're actually the first one. We've had a few people pop in and out, but you're the first one in. So no worries. Glad that you are here with us tonight. So we're talking all things eBay. And so tip number one, if you're just looking to get started on eBay, start with what you already have in your house. Okay, maybe you have some collectibles. Maybe you have dishes that you don't use anymore. Maybe you have, whatever. You kind of know the stuff that clogs things up. Hey, Tommy. Hey, Cat and Jack. Welcome. Yeah, I think YouTube is a little slow tonight. Just kind of my take on it tonight, just based on how things are rolling. But that's cool. You haven't missed much. I always try to stall for time the first few minutes. Anyway, so we're talking about how to get started on eBay. If you're looking to do that, so as you come on in, smash the like button, help get this feed out to more people tonight. So step number one, if you've never sold on eBay, and we do have a poll question, have you ever sold any item on eBay before? Okay, so have you ever sold any item on eBay before? So you can vote on that, so I can know a little bit more where everybody's coming from. Where are we at? 40%, yes. 60%, no. So little different than last night, where about 80% of people have posted a video on YouTube. I think there's definitely something different, right? It's very, I don't want to say it's risk free, but to post a video on YouTube is pretty. You don't have to spend a whole lot, and you just throw something up. So yeah, and post all your questions in the comments below, and I will get to them after I go through some basic tips. So tip number one is this: start with items that are already in your house. Start with the things that you have. Okay, so for me, um, right now I have a bunch of baseball cards, and so I've got this massive project that I decided to take on, and I don't know if it's going to be worth it, um, but I'm taking on the project of listing a massive amount of cards. And what we did is we took. Okay, so here's what I'm trying to do. Here's my theory with this: is obviously there's individual cards that are worthwhile, but I have bulk amounts of cards that I'm trying to get rid of. But instead of just donating, I'm trying to squeeze something out of them. And so what we did as a family over the last 2 weeks is we took all those bulk cards and we sorted them into player lots. Okay. So, and we alphabetized them, sorted them into player lots. This is a massive project. I'm telling you, we have, so for those of you who know like cards, these are called monster boxes here. Okay. They hold, if they're unsleeved, they hold about 5,000 cards. We have all of ours sleeved up and everything like that. But I have these commons, right? They're not really worth much in and of themselves. But I'm just going to show you because this is like where I am in my pile. I'll turn here. This is Randy Arozarena. Okay, so baseball player, not anything like, he's not like any super crazy, but you can just see all the multiples. This is all Randy Arozarena cards here. Okay, so I'm going to filter through all Randy Arozarena cards, all different ones. So what I'm doing is I'm going player by player, and I'm like starting in the letter A, right? So like letter A is an entire monster box full of cards, and then B is a monster box, and it's great. So we're going through it, and I'm starting with those, and I'm putting them up in lots. Now I'm not trying to get tons of money for these cards. I'm trying to clear out space, and I'm trying to bring more people into the store because I have other better, I don't know specifically, but most likely I have a couple other better single Randy Arozarena cards. So maybe somebody comes in and they see the one listing for whatever this is. This is probably like 50 cards or something like that. Okay. And they might see that listing and maybe it's not for them, but then they look to see, do I have any other Randy Arozarena cards? Do I have any other Tampa Bay Rays cards? Or maybe they have other favorite players and they're going to kind of look to do that. So I can take something that is relatively minuscule in value, bulk lot it up, and try to get it sold, all the while trying to build my store and everything else like that. So think about the things that are cluttering up your house that maybe have some bit of value. And so that's where you want to begin, because you get the dual benefit of decluttering your house, okay, and also liquidating something for cash. And so, and one other thing, and this is a bonus tip. I'm going to actually say it now. If you are just brand new starting on eBay, I would recommend getting 10 or 15 feedback as a buyer first, so it doesn't look like you're a brand new seller. because brand new sellers do get targeted by scammers a lot. And so I would definitely recommend doing research and knowing what common scams are. Of course, the normal things like anyone who wants to pay outside of the eBay system, people who are just, weird requests and different things like that. But definitely want to um, definitely want to make sure that you're kind of looking into to protecting yourself, not getting into any scams. But as long as you do your due diligence, it's a really good way to start. So start with what you have already in your house. Look for things that you want to declutter. Look for things that have some value, but maybe not any value to you. Do that. Okay, so that's the first step. The second step that I would highly recommend is that if you decide you're going to take on eBay as some form of a legit side hustle here. In other words, you want it to be something more than just a hobby. Like you're trying to make a little bit of income. We're not necessarily talking huge. Let's say you even want to make like $20 a day eventually, right? And so you're just figuring $20 a day, an extra 150 bucks a week, something along those lines. I would encourage you to list daily. From everything that I can tell of the eBay algorithm, if you have 7 items that you want to list, it would benefit you tremendously more to list 1 item a day than to list 7 items on one day and nothing for the rest of the week. Okay. And I've tested this out many different times. In fact, recently I had not been listing on eBay for a while. I still kept my store up. We're still selling things and I still run sales and different things, but I'd been so dug into doing so much food delivery and YouTube stuff, but I really wanted to get going because I have this clutter that I'm trying to get out. And so now I'm set up that I have between 5 and 10 card listings going up a day every day, and I'm actually scheduled out for the next 2 weeks. And so I'm now already building my listings for like 3 weeks and beyond. So like I have listings scheduled to go all the way through, I think like July 9th or something like that. So I have 2 full weeks worth of listings, and every night at 7 o'clock, those listings go up. And so, but instead of making, say, 70 listings, right, and putting them all up in one day, which I could have done, I just have 5 going up every single day. And as soon as I started doing that, within no time, I noticed that I started getting daily sales again. Now, I have a huge catalog. I have, you know, over 3,000 unique items up on eBay. But those 3,000 items, nothing has changed in the last couple weeks other than I started listing and now other random items started selling because eBay tries to reward people who are active on their eBay accounts. Okay. It's the same basic concept that DoorDash tries to promote, but eBay does it significantly better. Like the more you deliver, the more deliveries they're going to send to you. Okay. The more you list, the more you're going to sell. Now, the same basic things go here where you don't want to just be listing pure junk. Okay. And so the one of the things you can always do is you can research items to make sure that there's some value to it, and don't just look at what's listed because people can list at any price. Look at solds, and you're looking for a bunch of solds around a certain price point to get some good ideas. But anyway, so step one, start with what you have, and step two, if you want this to be a legit form of some sort of side hustle income to you. Now, if you're just doing it as a hobby, you do it as a hobby, you list it, forget it, that's fine. But if you're looking for this to be a legit, I'm trying to make some money off of this, trying to make 20 bucks a day, something like that, I would highly encourage you start spacing those things out. Now, you can still batch create all your listings. Now, some of these, I'm not sure what plans you have to be on for eBay and different things. Like I have an eBay store because that's beneficial to me. But I would definitely recommend if you can either just save them as drafts if you can't schedule them to list ahead of time, but list them once a day, roughly the same time. Just kind of the same thing. We do the YouTube stream the same time, same place. 5 nights a week. Try to be consistent for the YouTube algorithm. Try to be consistent for you. So if it works with your schedule, you can schedule around it. You know that it'll be reposted if you miss it, so you'll be able to see it the next morning. Well, the same concepts that we've kind of talked about with consistency with YouTube make sense for consistency with eBay as well. Okay, so start with what you have, and then list daily, even if it's just one thing a day, if you're trying to turn this into like a legit side hustle where you're bringing some money in. And that's what I'm trying to do. Like my eBay, it wasn't dead, but it really wasn't doing anything. And now that I'm listing 5 things a day, I've been getting pretty close to selling 5 things a day. And that's great. That's what you want. It doesn't have to be the same 5 things, right? As you build up your catalog, you can keep turning those over and over and over and over. Okay. Tip number 3. Okay. Um, Consider and keep your eye open for free shipping supplies, especially when you're starting on eBay. You probably don't have a huge warehouse full of all these shipping supplies and different things. Now, if you get an eBay store and you're willing to pay for that, you get a few shipping supplies every month for free through your eBay store. That's one of the benefits with it. But I'm always keeping my eyes open for extra bubble wrap, especially. That's one of the things I use a lot. Um, Anything that's dunnage, right? So we were cleaning out some boxes and stuff, and so I had this. It's called like craft paper. It's just like brown paper. I know it's really crinkly or whatever, but I just save all sorts of stuff like that, um, just to have, because you just never know when you're going to have something that's going to need a little bit of extra TLC in shipping. I know a lot of people actually use pool noodles for shipping breakable items. Things like mugs and plates. You can kind of cut them open and wrap things around. So just be kind of keeping your eye open for free shipping supplies. You know, in our house, my kids know. I know this is going to be sound really sad for those of you who are bubble popping addicts, but my kids know not to pop bubbles in our house, because if there's bubble wrap, we use it, and we make it last. And so, not to say they never get to pop bubbles, but they know, always check first, because if there's bubble wrap, then we look to reuse that, because it's just a common thing around here to do that. And we built up shipping supplies. My buddy had a product that he was trying to sell. It was a spinoff of extra bubble envelopes, and he didn't want them anymore because he wasn't using them, so he sent them to me. So I use those now, right? So it's just anytime you can find free shipping supplies, especially early on. If you really decide that you want to push out your eBay business and really want to grow it and everything like that, then sure, spending money on shipping supplies makes sense as your volume increases. But when you're just starting out, you get something in the mail and it comes from bubble wrap, or you're ordering something from Amazon and it comes with craft paper. Even those Amazon boxes, I've saved those and reused those. You can use an Amazon shipping box to ship an eBay item to someone else. It happens all the time. People reuse boxes. So just look for ways that you can save money for free shipping supplies. Okay. Now, that's like kind of stage one. That's like the 3 basic things that I would start with if you're just trying to get started on eBay. You're just not wanting to put any money out, right? That's the whole goal, is just learn it. It's low risk. If you make some mistakes early on, it's not going to hurt too much. It might be frustrating. It might be a little bit annoying, but it's not going to hurt too much. Now, let's say you've done this for couple weeks or a month or two, and you're getting comfortable and you want to actually start buying products to resell. Okay. So this isn't one of my tips, but just a couple places to think about: garage sales, right? Go to garage sales. A lot of times you can go to garage sales and you can find things, a $30 item for $1 or $2, and it might be brand new and sealed. I found new board games, new calculators, all sorts of things that basically look like they could just be sitting on the shelf at Walmart or Target, but if someone got it as a gift, they didn't want it. They just want to sell it for $2 or $3, get a little extra money, clear out the space in their house. That can be a place. Thrift stores, of course, is another place that you can do that. You can do retail stores, especially clearance at like Walmart and Target, but that gets a little more advanced. I would recommend starting if you're looking for things to flip. In other words, if you're looking for something that you want to buy for the purpose of reselling on eBay, I would start with garage sales. I would start with thrift stores. And if you wanted to push yourself just a little bit and you have an area of expertise that you know something really well about, you could probably look on places like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Okay. Um, some of those things, it can end up being a lot of time trying to track it down and meet up with a person, and then it's not actually what's represented in the listing. So there's a higher reward there, I think. I think you can find big scores on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, but you got to dodge a bunch of dodgy sellers and scam artists there too. So it depends on your comfortability level, but garage sales, flea markets would be another place too. Garage sales, flea markets, thrift stores be a great place to source product. But specifically, what do you go out and buy? And I would highly encourage you Start in the areas of your expertise. Start in the areas of things that you know. Okay, so I know we've got some huge music fans in here. So if you know music and you know indie record labels and you know all this sort of stuff, then you may want to go and really focus on mastering and figuring out what are the best CDs, right? Like, what are the best CDs to flip? What are the 2 or 3 Taylor Swift albums that you should be looking for when you're out doing that? Okay, or maybe you're the movie person, and what are the best DVDs that you should be looking for, and best Blu-ray player, or not, Blu-ray disc to be looking for. Or maybe you know the electronic side. So what are the best tape decks? What are the best DVD players, Blu-ray players? What are the best sound systems? Those sorts of things. But the point is find an area of your expertise. So for me, I know sports memorabilia pretty well. I know toys and games somewhat. Okay. So I stick in those areas mostly for eBay. So my eBay store is a combination of mostly sports memorabilia, baseball cards, and other sports memorabilia combined with random stuff that I've come across for free or stuff in my house that I'm getting rid of. Okay. So we have some of our stuff in a storage locker today, and I have a couple of totes full of things there. I also know clothing pretty well. Not as well as I used to, but like I actually know higher end clothing. I don't wear it, but I used to be full-time clothing reseller on eBay. And so I've got a pretty good, I don't know the newer stuff, but I know a lot of the stuff, from 5 to 15 years ago pretty well as some of the vintage stuff I know pretty well. So I like to stick in those areas when I'm looking for things for my eBay store. So yeah, my eBay store is mostly sports memorabilia, some clothing, and then it's basically filled out with other random stuff that I've got. You could spend hours in a thrift store trying to find every profitable item, and I don't recommend that. I recommend if you're looking to start spending some money to actually build eBay as a little bit of a side income stream where you can go out and say you sell $20 worth of your own stuff. So now you go out with $20. You can find 10 $2 items between thrift stores and garage sales with the goal of maybe selling half of them at $20. Okay. And the other half you're going to just chalk up to losses. Okay. So you're going to assume half of what you buy probably isn't going to sell unless you're super lucky or super skilled and know what you're doing when you start. And the other half, hopefully you can turn that 2 into 20 again. And so now you turn your nothing into 20, then you turn your 20 into 100, right? And then as long as you can keep multiplying that and replicating that, that's a model, and it's a scalable model. That's very easy to go from $20 a day to $200 a day if you've got some good expertise, if you have a decent amount of sourcing locations that you can do. So we were talking last night about 10xing. That's something you can't do with food delivery. You can't say, well, I delivered $300 worth of food today. Tomorrow, I'm going to put a plan together to deliver $3,000 worth of food. It's just not going to be there. Okay. But if you steadily grow your eBay store, you can start to do that. And then you can have a little more capital that you can buy some things in bulk, right? So if I wanted to really, really get serious with my baseball card stuff, I would start looking in Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist for some bulk purchases of baseball cards. Now, I don't think that's the direction I really want to go right now. It's something maybe I want to get back to with my son as he's getting older and he's getting into sports cards. I would like to kind of do with him as a side thing with him and teach him. Um, but long term, I want to be pushing more towards FBA and Amazon, the Amazon FBA program. So I'm just looking to mostly liquidate right now because I still have a lot of stuff, both personal stuff as well as sports cards, sports memorabilia stuff. But if I wanted to do that, I would be looking to go make a bulk purchase and then take the bulk purchase, say maybe 5,000 cards that I can get for $100, then take out all the best singles, sell those individually, then lot up the rest, do that, and then take the rest of the junk and either lot it up or just sell it back onto Facebook Marketplace to somebody else, keep that cycle going. But that's what you want to do is so you want to look to be buying into your expertise. And I would highly, highly recommend you don't need to go super deep. You don't need to be spending hundreds of dollars right off because some of that's going to be sunk cost because you're just learning. Just because something looks good or it looks like it sells for a lot, you have to think about how long you're going to have to sit on that item, right? How much space do you have to store that item? inventory costs, the cost of having your money tied up in something. So a lot of times buying things for 2 that you can sell for 20 or 30 is a lot better than buying a thing for 100 that can sell for 400 but might take you 6 months to make that sale. So sometimes rapidly turning your money over is a better strategy early on, even though, yeah, it'd be great to have a $200, $300 payday. But if you're going to have $100 tied up for 4 months instead of reinvesting in your inventory and building it up, I recommend kind of going wider instead of going super deep into 1 or 2 items, going wider into a variety of items, especially until you kind of get your groove figured out. Okay. The last thing to think about as you're looking to expand this is really consider the shipping cost and the ease of shipping. Now, when you're starting with just your own items, that's just, you kind of have to bite the bullet and say, look, I'm trying to sell some coffee mugs. Like I brought home a couple of Starbucks mugs from the storage locker today. I don't really like selling mugs, but they're Starbucks mugs, and I think there's going to be enough of a market to do it. Not my favorite thing to ship, but I'm going to do that. However, I would not necessarily be going out and sourcing a ton of Starbucks mugs. One, because it's not my area of expertise, and two, because I don't really like shipping them. That's just my personal preference. Now, I still know certain Starbucks mugs are worthwhile, and if I come across $100 Starbucks mug for $1 at a garage sale, I'm going to pick that up because that trade-off is going to be worth it to me. But I'm probably not going to be picking up a Starbucks mug that sells for $20 if I see it at a thrift store for $5 or $6, because the profit margin there versus the amount of frustration with trying to ship it versus the storage space and not having a great place to store breakable items right now other than the storage locker and different things, that's just probably something that I'm not going to do. But if you feel confident in that, that's fine. But you want to know. So if you're an audiophile and you want to start selling records, because there is a market for records, right? And a lot of thrift stores and garage sales, you can find records. But make sure you know what your plan is to ship those. Are you gonna do you have bags to put them in? Are you going to bag them? Do you have cardboard? Are you going to spend a little bit and actually get actual record shipping boxes or different things like that? So you really need to consider the shipping cost and the ease. And if you haven't shipped items recently, even with eBay discounts and different things, the cost of shipping can eat up your profits very quick. So I sell a lot of cards via eBay standard envelope, which costs 64 cents. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but then you got to remember on top of that, eBay takes their fees, which can be, 15% or so. So if I sell a card for $1, okay, eBay is going to take 15 cents plus there's 64 cents, that's 79 cents. I'm making like 20 cents for selling a $1 card. And that's assuming I got it for free. Okay. And so how many of those do I need to sell in a day versus, okay, if I'm going to use eBay standard envelope, I can sell a card for $5, and now the shipping is still the same price, but eBay's taking 75 cents. They're going to take $1.30. Now I'm making $3 or $4. Now to get my $20 a day, I'm going to need to sell 5 of those, right? So you've got to consider all of those things in, and just because something looks like it sells for a lot of money doesn't mean your profits are going to be the same as what it sells for. It's not as simple as that because there is shipping that you have to consider. So just consider that. I'm not saying don't sell something, right? Like there's nothing that I wouldn't sell if I could get it at the right price and sell it at the right price, right? Like I can ship really big things, and I have shipped some decent sized things before. But you need to be conscious of that when you're buying it. And you got to be conscious of like where are you going to store all this stuff. And so that's the thing, like something like baseball cards or people who deal with like vintage postcards. I've shown this a couple nights, but you can see like all those tabs. That's thousands. You're looking at thousands of baseball cards there. Okay. All stored on a rolling cart that I can roll in and out of any room. And yeah, the boxes are kind of heavy, but on the rolling cart, I can move them wherever I need to. And I have, 20 more boxes of those cards that I'm going to be looking to sell and different things. So for me, not having, yes, we have a storage locker, but I don't like having to go to the storage locker every time I sell an item. Um, I'm looking to minimize the space that my inventory takes up right now in my current stage of life. And so you just keep that in mind. consider that as you're looking to start spending a little money. And so here's what I would say. If you have if you're if you have stuff around your house, definitely get it sold. Use that money as your seed money to start buying your next round of stuff. Okay. If, however, you don't have anything, maybe you're already a super minimalist, you've already cleared out, like there's just nothing left in your house. Like you have nothing extra to sell. Everything that you have is stuff that sparks joy in you, as what's her name, Marie Coda or whatever would say. Everything you have sparks joy. Um, and so, like, that's fine. So where would you start? Well, that's where I would say something along the lines of, if you're like a gig delivery driver, I would save your first $20 in cash tips, or your next $20 in cash tips that you get. Okay. Just set it aside. And then the next time you've got like a slow afternoon, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, go to a thrift store and just pick one or two sections that are areas that you enjoy, and just see what you can find. Do a little bit of treasure hunting. You're taking money that was kind of like unexpected, right? Because cash tips tend to be unexpected money in the gig delivery world. They're nice, we appreciate them, but even if someone says cash tip on delivery, you don't generally believe them. At least I would recommend you don't believe them. Um, and so you could take that $20, and then it's still a risk, right? It's still an actual $20, but it's not money that was coming out of your planned deliveries. So you take that $20 and see if you can find 2, 3, 4 items that are in your area of expertise, that you know how to ship, or that you can pretty easily figure out how to ship, and give that a try. And then try to build up, try to get 7 items over a couple of weeks, and then start listing one a day. And then hopefully, if you're sourcing well, you can get a couple of those sold, really get going on that. Okay. So I'm going to give you one last bonus tip, and then we'll share what we're drinking for the night. And then I will go back and answer any and all of your questions. So if you've got any questions about selling on eBay, let me know, and we will see from that. Let's see. I want to see. All right. Let's see. I don't know what happened to the poll. Last I saw it was about 50-50, but about half of you guys have sold on eBay before. So anyway, ask any and all your eBay questions. So here's my last bonus tip, which is this. And this goes back to our area of service. I recommend that, if at all possible, you get yourself into a daily shipping schedule. Okay. So one of the first things I do every morning is, when I get up, I look to see what items sold. Now, sometimes I know the night before, so I work ahead and I get a couple things shipped. But a lot of nights, I would say probably 2, 3, 4 nights a week, 3 or 4 nights a week on average, I'm selling something overnight. Okay, while I'm sleeping. I have my phone notifications turn off at 11 p.m. and they don't turn on again until 8 a.m. or 7 or 8 a.m., something like that. A lot of nights I sell something. So when I wake up in the morning, I go see what's sold. Hopefully it's here. I only have a few things for sale that are at the storage locker now at this point. I package it up, ship it out, either put it in the mailbox, or if it's too big for that, then I just bring it with me when I go out for delivery work or running errands or whatever, and I just drop it off along the way. Okay. Now, if you get really advanced and you're selling 30, 40 things a day, you can actually schedule pickups for the post office to actually come pick everything up. But when you're starting small scale, that's not a huge deal to just bring that with you. So every morning I do that. And so every morning I ship, and 5 days a week for sure. And then Saturday mornings when possible. Okay. So obviously there's no reason to ship on a Sunday morning because you don't have mail. And even if they come, the mail doesn't actually go anywhere other than just sit at the post office till Monday anyway. But I try to ship out every single day. And so that's one of the ways, because a lot of people take 3, 4, 5, 6 days to ship on eBay. So one of the ways that you as a new seller can be really impressive to buyers who are trusting you, right? Like they're sending money your way, and they've never purchased from you before when you're just starting on that, is ship fast. And if you ship fast, of course, ship with tracking, all those basic things that you would need to know. But if you ship fast, it's going to be one of the best ways to start building up a group of repeat customers that are going to want to come back and see what else you have. And of course, if your store really narrows down and focuses on 1 or 2 main areas, you're going to start to build a bunch of people who are going to want to see, hey, what new records do they have? What new CDs do they have? What new DVDs do they have? What new baseball cards? What new football cards do they have? Even if they're not new, as long as they're new to your store and you've built loyal followers, you can really grow a following. And when I was like doing massive amounts of flipping of baseball cards, I would have some of the same people come every single week. They would come and buy sometimes 30, 40, 50 cards at once from a bunch of different listings. So you really can build up that clientele base. So if you've ever done like gig delivery work and you just wish like, man, I wish I could get that person's order every time they wanted to order food. Well, guess what? If you build a good enough store and build a good enough inventory, you can get those good customers that you really like on eBay. You can get their orders consistently because you're providing a premium service experience, the same thing that we want to do in every other area of your life, right? But not just a premium service experience. You're building your catalog, you're getting to know what people want. And as a side thing, if you want to, you can start building up a following, and you can even go the direction of Whatnot and doing live auctions and different things, kind of like that merging, right, of eBay and YouTube is like what Whatnot and some of those things are. So that's my bonus tip for you. I highly recommend working on getting to a system where you can ship every single day. And the way I do it is I ship same day for anyone who orders until like 6 a.m., which I know is not like super late in the day. But any orders that come in by 6 a.m., I just promise that I'm going to ship it out the same day. Every once in a while, like something weird comes up where I'm like running to the post office like 10 minutes before close. But for the most part, most every morning, I get up, I see what orders came in through the day before and overnight, ship them out, put them in the mailbox, and I'm done for the day. And I automatically have my new listings going up every night at 7 p.m. And then every morning around 8 a.m. or so, ship all my orders out for the day. And that's how I keep on top of it, keeping customers happy. So even though I haven't sold a ton of items, I still have 14, 15 positive feedback in the past month, which is great. So it's like, even though the store hasn't been super active, but now that we're listing more again and now more orders are coming in, I'm still going to keep up with that, because now it's like, now I have 5 to 10 items listing every single day, and hopefully I'll be shipping out 5 to 10 orders every single morning once everything catches up. Okay, so what are you drinking tonight? I was inspired by the talk yesterday, and so I have blue Gatorade. So that's what I am drinking tonight, because I think a couple of you guys were drinking Gatorade last night. So you inspired me. We had this big canister of the mix, like make the 5 gallon, make that giant thing that they dunk on the coach's head after they win a big football game, sort of stuff. Well, we had one of those containers from when we were all sick and nothing fun to drink in the house. So we made that up tonight. So, all right, I'm going to get caught up on all the comments. So if you have any other questions regarding eBay, I'm not an expert in every niche and every genre on eBay, but I will just give you my best knowledge and also some tips to help you, steps that you can take to figure out things. Okay. So let's see. I'm just going to go back to the beginning. Hit the like button and all. Yep. Tommy, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys hitting the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, also do that. Once I saw I was like, oh, I got to go to the stream. Yep. So 10 p.m. every night, just for those of you who are new here tonight, 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday nights. And so yesterday we did YouTube. Today we're doing eBay. Tomorrow we're going to talk Facebook Marketplace. I know it's not everyone's favorite platform, but a lot of the same principles apply. But a lot of people, I think they kind of get intimidated because it is face-to-face selling. But that's where I think, actually, if you're a gig delivery driver, you kind of have a leg up. So we're going to talk how do you liquidate your stuff on Facebook Marketplace? Because I actually think for some things that you have in your house that you want to get rid of, Facebook Marketplace is a far superior thing. So let's say you have not like an older TV, not like an old tube TV, but let's just say you have a TV. So like we have one in our storage locker. I saw it today. I'm like, I have this TV. It's just sitting in the storage locker. I'm paying to store it every month. I should just get it sold. My goal is like, we have a pretty big storage locker. So my goal is by August or September, I want to downgrade my storage locker size. And so, sorry, itchy nose again tonight. So I'm trying to downgrade. So I'm looking for what are the things that are in there. And that I haven't used for a couple of months. Like if I haven't used it for a couple of months, I probably don't need it. And some of those things are actually going to sell better on Facebook Marketplace. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. Okay, Facebook Marketplace, and give you some tips and tricks on that. We're just trying to kind of cover that. And so if you have any questions about that, make sure you bring that tomorrow night. Do I have any one-of-one? I did. So Tommy, I don't have any one-of-ones currently, but I did have some one-of-ones. I had some printing plates. I think I had 2 or 3 different printing plates, which is like the printing plate that they use to make the cards. They insert those as one-of-ones. I think I've sold all of those off right now, but yes, I have had some. But I've never pulled a one-of-one from a pack. I haven't done too much pack hunting recently, but I've never pulled a one-of-one. I think the best I've done is pulled a 1 of 10. Um, Probably the best card that I have right now is a Mike Schmidt and Alec Bohm dual autograph card, serial numbered to 10, and it's from Alec Bohm's rookie year. So I'm hoping that, even though I'm a Mets fan and I want the Phillies to lose, I'm hoping that Bohm's career has a nice upward trajectory, and that card will just look really good with obviously an all-time great with Mike Schmidt on that card and Alec Bohm there as well. All right. Apparently, I need to do uh, the things that all this conversation stuff that goes on. Come on, don't spam our chat here. Sorry about that. Remember tax season. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Remember tax season. Though, consult with your tax professional because I am not a tax professional. But there are certain things, if you just purchase them for personal use and now you're selling them because you're done using them personally, those certain things would not necessarily be subject to tax, but you do have to itemize that sort of stuff. But anything that you purchase for the purpose of resale and then you for the purpose of resale and then you resell it, yes, of course, all that would be subject to tax. So just keep that in mind as you're considering those things. And if you get to certain sales thresholds, you will be issued tax documents, though it is our recommendation, whether you are issued tax documents or not, we highly recommend that you report all income and just be above board, even if you don't like doing it. J Ride Flips, hey, how's it going tonight? So I don't know, J Ride Flips sounds like maybe you're an eBay seller. So let me know though if you got anything else. If you have any tips for eBay, if you do that, is eBay a good place to sell my homemade medication? Um, I thought there was another one I saw too. Oh yeah, sorry, Adam, I missed your question because I was like, there was another question about good place to sell. Are 3D printed items something good to sell? Okay, so in my dream future, I would love to own a 3D printer. I do not own one. I have never used one. I would imagine though that if you could find the right types of products, especially like replacement things, right? So if you think of things that people would be looking for replacements of, like, you know, missing pieces from board games or, you know, different parts that, I'm not sure how well 3D printing is compatible with like auto repair stuff, but, that sort of thing. I would think there would be a market for that. I also would think anything custom, things that are like that you're just making that are more like collectible toys or whatever. I would think so. And I will give this general bit of recommendation. If you want to know specifically are things, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go on to eBay.com and you're going to want to search for whatever the item is. So you could even just search for 3D printed, and then you're going to click on the side. There's going to be a button. Sometimes you have to expand the menu to see it, but you're going to want to click on sold items, right? Because there's probably a ton more items being offered that are 3D printed than 3D printed items that have sold. So you want to see what are the sort of things that are selling. What are the 3D printed items that are selling for the most? You're gonna want to kind of dig in and do a little bit of research. Okay, so if I wanted to research baseball cards, and maybe I wanted to research what types of cards, like maybe I already know something about some of the players, right? So if you follow baseball, you know Shohei Ohtani. He's one of the most popular, and his cards are some of the most valuable cards that are out there. But what are the best Shohei Ohtani cards? What are the cards that you should be looking for? Well, then you'd want to type in Shohei Ohtani and then click on the switch to make sure you're in the baseball cards section because you're not say wanting to bring up bats and jerseys and autographed posters. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for baseball cards. And then you can search by all different things. You can search by recent sales, so you can see which Shohei Ohtani items have sold recently. You can search by top sales, so you can see, okay, what are his top cards? And you can do this for any player, and sometimes it's actually better to do it for just a normal average player. Like, we talked about Randy Rosarena, right? So it'd be interesting to know, like, what is the most valuable Randy Rosarena card that's sold in the last couple months. So you have some idea, okay, what are the top levels of cards? What are the types of cards that if I come across this, regardless of the player, there's going to be some good value to it. You can do the same thing within that 3D printed niche, okay? Um, and then where we got Too Evil. Is eBay a good place to sell my homemade medication? So I'm not 100% sure how much of that is serious, how much of that is a joke, but I know there are many rules about selling medication on eBay. So make sure you read all the rules about what things you are and are not allowed to sell. But if you're talking about things like herbal remedies and certain things, there may be ways to do that where you can, and we're not talking about that type of herbal remedy, okay? But like there might be certain ways that you can sell herbal teas, but you might have to package things in a particular way, and so there can be markets for homemade things, outside of like food and consumables. But if you're really into the homemade or the artistry stuff, then you may want to look into other platforms too, like Etsy, right? Where it's kind of caters a little bit more to that type of clientele. So something like that. Joshua, sorry you missed last night. Hey, no worries. Um, yeah, so for those of you who haven't been around, Joshua lost a good friend to a motorcycle accident. I think it was last week, and so um, we've been kind of just supporting him in prayer and just backing him up. So the funeral was yesterday. Um, his friend group came up with me and went out to eat and talk, and all went to church on Sunday. His life impacted a lot of people, and so I know that's a tough thing, and like we're here for you and we're supporting you, and thank you so much for the support you've been providing to that family as well. And so hopefully the stream. So last night we talked about the basics of starting a YouTube channel and some of the lessons I've learned over the last few months. Today we've just been talking about eBay, and if you're looking to start selling on eBay a little bit, I've been selling on eBay on and off in a variety of capacities for over 20 years. And so if you missed some of the beginning too, you can get caught up on that if you're looking for some things. Yes, and Eli has been putting up some music on his YouTube channel, which is really, really cool. Yeah, like my wife and I listened to that. We really liked that second one, the one that you put up last week too, Eli. So good stuff. Um, I think it was Time Flies was the one that we both really liked. I make tetanus shots from stuff I find around the house. So got the Gatorade. People are drinking Gatorade again today. Yep. So I'm on Team Blue. Blue Gatorade is the way to go for sure. So, um, so yeah, hit that like button. If you guys have any other questions, let me know regarding eBay. But hopefully that's just kind of a nice little overview if you are getting started. It is so just channel update time here really quick. It is actually my anniversary today. Been married for 13 years today, so I'm probably going to be the blue Gatorade kick. Probably going to be heading out of here a little bit earlier than normal tonight, but still wanted to come on with everybody, hang out for a little bit. Um, we're getting new brakes on our car tomorrow, so we had some coolant issues and different things like that. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you. Yes. 13 years, which is funny because when I got married, I felt like I was like so old, because I didn't get married till, how old was I? I got to do math. I don't even know how old I am now. I think I got married when I was like 30 or something like that. And so I felt like, oh my goodness, 30 years old, and now it's like, well, now it's almost been like a third of my life, right, that I've been married. And so it's kind of funny how how that perspective of time shifts. But we're going to be doing we did some family celebration stuff today, but we're going to be doing stuff. We're doing like a family, we're calling it a family funcation that we're doing on probably Thursday. So the brakes in the car are getting fixed tomorrow, and then we're going to do like a family beach day and go out to eat, hopefully on Thursday if everything goes well. So, um, let's see. Is eBay good to buy from? Josh, so the answer is yes, um, but do your research. Okay, do your research on whatever you're wanting to buy. Almost always, um, auctions are better to buy from than fixed price listings. Okay, but the negative is on an auction, you have to wait till the time is up. And so if you're looking for something quickly, I also like eBay for hard to find things, right? Like one off things. So, like if you just have a broken whatever, some broken item or a toy or a game that's missing some playing pieces, eBay is a great place to say, like, okay, if you're missing the hat from your Monopoly, eBay is a great place. You're going to maybe overpay versus its true value, but where else are you going to just buy the hat for your Monopoly game so you can play your favorite token on Monopoly? Um, so for things like that, I really like eBay for that. When I was doing baseball cards, I did a lot of my sourcing on eBay. And the way I would do it is I would look for bulk buys. So maybe buy it now with the best offer, but someone who is trying to sell a large quantity of cards, right? So, and I knew what my price point needed to be. So I buy in bulk and then break the bulk up into separate listings, right? So do the work other people aren't willing to do, or try to snipe auctions at the end. So wait till the final minute or so of the auction and then put your bid in and try to catch some good deals that way. And I was able to do that. It can be, but just like anything else, like if you just go onto Amazon and just like buy all the things, like you're going to spend your money really fast. So if you can be patient on eBay, and especially if you're looking for things. Now, if you're looking for new product, a lot of times you're not going to get a huge discount there or Amazon versus like Walmart or Target. Um, so it's just that's gonna be. But when you're talking about used things, rare things, nostalgia stuff like that you remember from your childhood, you're looking for that. I always recommend if there's like things that you're looking for, you can go onto eBay and you can like create a search and you can save that search and it'll like email you and just say, hey, there's 5 new listings saying this. So, like I have on my, I don't have an actual search for it, but I'm always looking for this blue church. It was this blue church that we had and it had like snow on it and like sparkly glitter on it that we used to have plugged in at every Christmas time. And, so I always look a couple times a year. I always look for it, just to see if anyone listed it. And like 10 or 15 years ago, someone had it, but I didn't have a place to buy it then. And but I'm always looking for it because it's like a nostalgia thing. It's something that I remember as a kid, but we don't have anymore that I would love to get, so my kids could have it or whatever. So, um, and in general, look for good feedback. There's really not much of a reason that any seller shouldn't have 98% or higher feedback. And if they do have 98% or higher feedback, um, almost certainly they're going to be good with following through on their stuff. If you need to, start with something small. Just make a small purchase from a seller who's got 99% or higher feedback, just so you can get used to what the process is like. I mean, you can do simple things like you can buy a dollar bill for like $1.20 if you just want to kind of feel out what the process of buying on eBay is. And like I said before, I recommend that you get 10 or 12 positive feedbacks as a buyer before you are a seller, so that way it doesn't look like you're a brand new seller account. So different things like that. Yes. Yeah. And so, Josh, you just got to be patient with finding it. And so, I don't buy a ton because we just don't buy a ton of used stuff. We're not buying a ton of stuff right now anyway, but I've always liked it for like looking for one of a kind things, rare things, out of print things, nostalgia things. But you just have to be patient. You can't be like, I demand that item that I'm looking for is on there today. It's just more, I'm going to start building and saving a search list of 10 or 20 things that I'm looking for eventually. And if I can get it at the right time and the right price and snipe an auction or different things like that. So I highly recommend that. 69, my car exhaust keeps scraping the ground. Should I be concerned? Probably. Probably. Okay, I won a lot of bids, cheap auctions. Yeah, absolutely. Auctions are the best way to find deals, misspellings, and different things. So I recommend selling as fixed price. I think you will make more money on average as fixed price unless you're literally just trying to liquidate something and get rid of it. So like these massive card listings, they're all going up fixed price. So I don't know exactly how many cards are here, but let's just say this is 50 cards. I'm going to put it up for about $20 plus $6 shipping, right? So about 50 cents a card with best offer. And honestly, the first person who comes along for Randy Rosarain and offers me like $8 to $10, I'm probably taking it. But there's going to be a few of these listings that people are going to be like, hey, that's a pretty good deal, 50 cents a card, and I can get a bunch of cards. And what they may do is they may take the cards, pull out, let's say there's 50 of them, right? They might pull out 15, and then they may list the other 35 back up on eBay and put another lot. Or maybe they have 20 other Randy Rosarena doubles that they don't want, so then they can buy the 50, pull out 10 or 15 that they want, combine it with 10 or 15 more that they have that are extras, and then they can just sell it and basically get all their money back, but get new cards added to their collection. So that was a thing. Like back when I was a collector, so I collected Dan Marino and Mike Piazza. Dan Marino is one of my favorite football players. Mike Piazza, one of my favorite baseball players. So I would go online and I would try to win auctions for Mike Piazza lots, like a bulk lot of cards. And then they would send me the cards and I would pull out, let's say it was 20 cards. I'd pull out 8 to 10 that I didn't have for my collection, added them to my collection, pull out 2 or 3 that were in slightly better condition than the ones that I had, swap those out, and then I would take that lot and I would just throw it right back up on eBay, get a portion of my money back, and then do it over and over again. So there's ways, like if you're looking to build collections, um, eBay is great for that, but be patient and don't do that. So, and I know you don't know if the seller is lying or not. Like there's a little bit of risk. Like I said, start slow. Look for 98% or higher feedback. There's just no reason. I mean, I have like one, I don't know if it's a negative or neutral in the last 6 months. There's always somebody that you can't please. It feels like on a lot of these, just like with food delivery. Though, by the way, I looked today. My Instacart is finally back to a full 5 star. Just as a side note, I was very happy. Um, but that's it. Oh, what's that toy you made? But the game toy, what was it? Okay, yes, here it is. So here you go, Tommy. I actually have it here. So Samurai Brothers. Okay, so you can actually, I have this on eBay and we're on Amazon and we're on eBay. So Samurai Brothers, it's a ninja battle card game, and so this is not a full. Maybe it's a full set, but this is like my demo set that I would use for different things. So you can see, it's kind of the chibi artwork. So like the kind of that Asian style artwork with like the giant eyes. So there's Baby Ninja. You got this one. You got Baby Ninja fighting a fire ant. You got Snorkeling Baby Ninja. So this is Samurai Brothers Ninja Battle card game. So it is available on Amazon, or if you look for it on eBay, you'll find my eBay store, so you can check it out. You got like firework walkers. Let me see if I don't know if it's in here. Hold on. Let me see what I got here. Yeah, see this one doesn't have all of the legendary ninjas. So my actual card is not in this one. But I do have my own card in here as well. So Samurai Brothers, there you can see it there. Samurai Brothers Ninja Battle card game. So it's I'm not sure where it's cheaper right now. I think it might actually be cheaper on Amazon at the moment. But either way, if you can purchase it either of those places if you're interested. But yeah, that's the game that we did. So am I the only one that celebrates my parents' anniversary after they passed? No, I don't think so. I still remember. My mom passed. My dad's still around, but I still remember their anniversary. You know, um, I still remember my mom's birthday. I don't think that's a crazy thing at all. So best sales were stuff I found out on the curb. Yeah, I know people who do that, who dumpster dive to Amazon and all sorts of stuff like that. people who have found stuff on the curb and flipped it, garage sales. A lot of times, you can even, I found stuff in free boxes at garage sales that I've been taken and sold on eBay. So there are ways to start really, really cheap. There's a whole free section on Craigslist. Like I said, it's a lot more work, but if you're just looking for some free inventory to start, absolutely, absolutely try that. So, airsoft, any good? Is it better to sell in bulk? Okay, so I don't know the legalities of selling airsoft on eBay, so I would definitely do a little bit of research. My guess is it should be fine, but it also would probably need to have like the clear, distinctive orange tip, I believe. Again, I'm not a super great expert in that, but I do know because like New York State rules, they have to have like the orange tip and stuff like that. Um, and is it better to piece out or sell in bulk? And the answer is it always depends. Okay. Um, you will almost certainly always make more money by piecing things out. However, it will almost always certainly take more time to sell through everything. Okay. So if I wanted to, I could, instead of doing a lot of 60 cards, I could do, I've got whatever, 8 or 10 of this particular card. And I could do 8 or 10 or whatever, 15 of this particular card, and then 10 or 12 of this particular card, right? Like, so I could do all of that and it would eventually probably make me more money, but that's not worth the time that I want to put into it. Okay. So, however, if you gave me 10 Shohei Ohtani rookies that are all worth, $500 or up, I guarantee you it's way better to sell each of those individually. So whether or not you sell as a bulk lot or sell and piece things out has a lot to do with what is your goal. If you're trying to sell fast, bulk lot things up. Okay. And you just cut a good deal and you get it, because a lot of times the person's maybe only going to want 80% of the lot. So they're only going to want to pay 70 or 80% of the value. Okay. So yeah, so the better priced items and the more specific and unique the items, the more unique buyer, I would tend to go more single listing. But um, airsoft uses pellets, right? Like some form of like a pellet type of thing. Or I'm a little more familiar with paintball because I've actually done paintball. So you would be much better off. Yeah. So if you had a bunch of pellets, you're much better off just putting all your BBs, again, assuming you're allowed to sell it. Do your research for what's allowed, but you're probably much better off just saying, here's 10,000 BBs, unless you're going to really be selling BBs by the thousand, and that's going to be like a recurring thing. It's probably going to be a lot better for you to just sell something like that in bulk. Because it's just something that someone you can see. Okay, yeah, I could see if you're running an airsoft, thing or whatever. So it's just gonna completely depend on whatever is the best for you. Um, so yeah, let's see. I was winning 99-cent bids, shipping on eBay, Mickey Mantle graded cards, flip them on my cart. Very nice. My 7-year-old will like it. So yeah, we have fun with the game. My kids learned it. My youngest one is 6, and she's just starting to kind of get the game. Um, my older two, probably 6 and 8 is when they really start enjoying. But we still play it as a family too, and so definitely something there. So I don't know, Tommy, if you didn't catch Eli, he's wondering if you have a YouTube channel, so you can, if you see that, or if you're still here, let him know. So yeah, 100%, 100% depends um, on what you're trying to do. So um, the better, the higher price the individual thing is, let it sell by itself. The more you're just trying to liquidate and get stuff out, so in the case, so if I had a Randy Rosarena autographed graded 10 rookie, that I'm selling separately. If I have 60 or 50 Randy Rosarena common cards that are worth, 3 to 5 cents a piece, I'm much, much better off lotting those up and trying to find a good deal and to sell it to a Randy or Rosarena fan. Okay. Hopefully that gives you guys, and you can apply that to whatever. So for example, here, let's say you go out, let's say you're an audiophile, right? And you go out and you buy a lot of 200 CDs. Yeah, we'll do prayer requests here in a second, and we'll pray to close things off. Okay, so but let's say you go out and you buy 200 CDs, and you know there's a couple in there that are really good. Then you go through the 200 CDs, you list maybe the top 20 or 30 of them as individuals that you're going to get all your profit from. Okay, then everything else I would just lot up by either artist or genre. You could put all your hard rock, you could put all your country albums together, you could put all your, whatever, your Christian, your R&B, your hip hop, the stuff that's lesser, and then you're just trying to push those. So I did that with a bunch of cassette tapes because, believe it or not, if you're not familiar, cassette tapes do still sell well. So I came across at a garage sale like a year or two ago, and it was something like, I don't know, it was like 50 cassette tapes for like $10. But I saw it was like all the 80s hard rock and some of the 80s rap and stuff like that. And so in that case, I didn't want to take the time to test every one, so we just ended up bulk lotting them up, made 3 or 4 different bulk lots. Each bulk lot sold for more than I paid for the entire lot. And so that was a way to do it, just because I don't know that much about it. I didn't want them sitting around that long. Somebody got a great deal relative to if they wanted to flip it, they still got a deal. And for me, I made my money on it and was able to clear it out. So we read this as quick as you can for me, so I'm going to go ahead and switch my TV, and I'll be able to watch. When we have a comment, can you unite the prayer? Yes. So, yeah, if anybody has any prayer requests, we will close in prayer. So that's it. Oh, yeah, channel updates. So, yeah, just kind of the same old, same old. I'm still trying to work out when I'm going to be making my YouTube videos, my long forms. I know I need to get to it, and so stay on me. I've got good ones coming. It's just one more week of chaos. So yeah. So all right. So family and your friend Josh, and yeah. Here's the other thing. Just one other thing. Just with this is after a funeral. Here's what happens. Right. A lot of people after the funeral have received their individual closure, like the non-family members. Not that they're good with it, not that they're still not grieving, but they've kind of closed. The funeral kind of closes that chapter. So what often happens is the family gets tons and tons of love and care leading up to the funeral, and then often after the funeral, things kind of drop off very quickly and suddenly for the family. Okay, so um, just a thing to consider both for you and your personal self-care in this process, as well as for the family, that realize that the phone calls and the people checking in really start to slow up. And in a lot of ways, reality is just starting to sink in for them. Okay. So I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do because I don't know the family in this particular sense. But um, I would just say keep keep in mind that the family might be feeling a little extra lonely in the days ahead. Okay? It's just a pattern I've seen a lot over the years that there's so many family and friends that come around for the funeral, and and then usually the family gets plenty of food after the funeral, but over the next couple of weeks everybody else moves on, right? Because they're living their life. um, and people check in, but the check-ins just come in a little bit slower. So just be sensitive to both your own needs as well as the family's needs over the next couple weeks, especially because it can kind of be this weird thing. Everybody else is moving on with their life. Everybody else is posting normal Facebook posts and normal posts on X and normal posts on Instagram, and meanwhile the family is still grieving while other people have kind of moved on, and they're not intentionally forgotten, but that's just a general piece to just be aware of kind of over the next couple of weeks after the funeral has happened. Just tends to be a thing. So just be aware of that. Yeah, we could do daily Bible quotes. I know Bible app has like a verse of the day every day. I need to eventually make the switch from vertical to streaming through my laptop, um, because I do have StreamYard. I have like the very limited plan, but I can do a whole lot more, including screen sharing and stuff, on the laptop than I can on the vertical. So my camera's not as good on my laptop, and I don't have an external camera yet for that. Um, so when I can make the jump in technology, I think that's one of the moves that we'll make. Though we'll try to stream through the laptop with a camera that way eventually, because I can do a whole lot more with screen sharing and stuff like that. So yeah, so we'll see. I'm always kind of I want to keep the vibe of the room. I know it's a right, like for some people the faith thing is a really personal thing, and I don't want to overwhelm, but I also, you know, I want to make sure that we're finding the right blend of that works for everybody. I want to make sure that all the content comes, and the faith things that are at the end are there for those that want them, and for those that aren't interested in that, like that's okay too. Like that is what I'm all about, but I'm also not here to jam it down anybody's throat. It's like, look, if you got questions and you want prayer, like we're here for you. We're here to support you guys in any way possible, and that includes on the faith side as well, because this journey of moving 10,000 people from stupid broke to self-defined millionaires also is including the area of faith, and going from poor in faith to rich in faith, because that's part of what we're all about here. So anyway, that's kind of the basics. So I'm gonna wrap this stream up with prayer here in just a second, and kind of enjoy the rest of the night, and wait for my brakes to get fixed on the car tomorrow, so I can start getting out and doing delivery stuff again. So let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for today. Thank you for, in my life, 13 years of marriage and a supportive wife and kids that have stuck with me through all sorts of life situations and my failures, and that they don't give up on me, and thank you also that you don't give up on me, and you don't give up on any of us, that you are there for us. We think of Josh and the family, of the young man who passed away, and Father, as maybe there was some closure with the funeral. At the same time, there's still a hole that is there for so many people, and telling stories is great and memories are great, but none of that replaces the person and the loved one that was lost. And so we just pray that you just continue to shower your comfort and continue to bring people around who will just build up the family, support them, especially as kind of go into this post funeral time where people can be forgotten. Just pray for that, and just pray that you strengthen Josh as well, that you would minister to him, and that you would also provide people around him to support him as he continues this process of supporting the family and also grieving himself and all this. We just thank you for opportunities that we have. We thank you for the stuff that we have that we don't need, that we have opportunity to sell. We thank you for platforms like eBay and Mercari and Amazon, where we can take our own items, and Etsy, and we can take our own items that we've created or just extra items that we have, and sell them and use that money for the missions that you are giving to us, Father. So we thank you, and just give us wisdom to know which platforms work best for the businesses and the money making opportunities that we have, and pray that we use that all for the glory of your kingdom as well. We just thank you. We just pray for safety on the road for all the gig delivery drivers for this upcoming week ahead as well. And we just thank you again for today. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you guys once again for being awesome. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe on the way out if you haven't done so already. And appreciate you all so much. And tomorrow we're going to talk Facebook Marketplace. So if the eBay felt maybe like a little over your head today, maybe a good first step would be Facebook Marketplace. And so I want to give you, I've learned a lot. I sold a lot on Facebook Marketplace over the last year. And again, that's tough as a long-term business income stream, but it's great for just taking random junk, especially bigger stuff you have around the house. And there's a lot of frustrations with it, but I think there's some ways to kind of overcome those frustrations. So we're going to do it. Okay, so we are 10 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Sunday through Thursday. Okay, Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern time is our normal stream time. We usually try to wrap it up by 11, but sometimes we go a little late, like tonight. So, all right. So hopefully that works for all of you. Thank you all so much. And then it always goes on replay between an hour and 12 hours after, whenever YouTube decides to repost it after it finishes uploading. So if you ever miss a stream or you miss part of it, you can always catch that afterwards. So thank you all. Have a great night.